Hello, everybody. Welcome to Data Types and Variables. This is lesson one. We're gonna get going here in a second, but first, go ahead and open the file or the link that was in the Google Classroom, and it will also be in the description of this video. But go ahead and open that. That'll be the lesson, and you can go ahead and open that, accept the lesson, and then there should be an option to open in VS Code. Go ahead and do that, and you should see these two files, data types and variables, and lesson one exercise. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. You can get rid of this sidebar here by just clicking on one of these sides and then clicking again. And then there we go. So let's go ahead and take a look. You can follow through with me on your own file if you want to, so you can turn these comments on and off as we go through the code and sort of play with it and see what does what. So the first thing we're going to cover is comments. So this is a comment. Anything after pound sign or number sign is treated as a comment. Comments are ignored by the interpreter. They are generally used to mark up your code to explain why you coded something the way you did. So in this case, up here, um, I have three hashtags. It doesn't matter. Anything after the first one is considered a comment. So in this case, it's a block comment. I wanted to have this whole thing as a comment, so each line gets its own hashtag in front of it. So let's take a look at numbers. So numbers work as you would assume in Python. You can do simple operations like this or more complicated operations, but we'll start with this for now. But so what Python's doing is it's actually running this calculation, but it's not printing anything for us to be able to see. If we ran this code, it would do nothing. Well, it would do stuff, but it wouldn't tell us anything usable about that. So, so numbers, we'll get to how to print stuff out in just a moment here. But yeah, numbers, you just add them up like you would assume in a calculator or anything like that. Just type them out. So strings are anything that's inside a quote. So this is a string as well. You could try typing this, but you'll see that Python is giving you errors, and over here it thinks you're trying to execute code by doing that. So if you want to have a string, it's got to be in between quotation marks. So the thing is, you can have numbers in here too, and this is considered a string. So this is not equal to 2123. They're two separate values. So you couldn't say add these two. Whoops. There we go. If we did, and we try to run it, it will give us an error. It says can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So just beware of that. Let's go ahead and let's see. So yeah, anything you put in quotes is a string. All right, let's talk about the print command. So let's run this code as it is right now, and you'll see it tells us that it found the code and found the file, and it ran it, but there was no result. It just came up empty. If we want to show stuff on the console or in this terminal, you need to use the print command. So if we print hello world and then save this and run it, it prints out hello world down here. So, oh, and I forgot that I covered numbers as strings later on, so we'll get to that in just a second. Let's go ahead and comment this out. And then let's take a look at this. If you tried to print two, or if you tried to add two numbers together that are strings, it won't give you an error. What it will do though is it will concatenate the two onto the end of this 1, 2, 3. So it's saying take the string 1, 2, 3 and add 2 to the end of it. So that's what it's doing. We run that. Yep. Let's go ahead and comment that out. All right, let's talk about variables. So variables are a way of storing data or assigning data to a name, or you can think of it as a container for data. So in this case, my variable is just called name, and then inside of it, I have a string with my name. You can put numbers inside of variables too. You can put pretty much anything inside of a variable. Operations like this, you can tell it that that should be inside a variable and it'll do that. So if we go ahead and run this, it prints out my name and it prints out 125. So yeah, just think of variables as a container or a name that you put data in. Let's go ahead and get up here and let's comment that out. All right, so concatenation, we kind of touched on it up here when we talked about numbers as strings, but if we tell it to print hello plus name, oh, and I should uncomment this, because if I didn't, it would say you're trying to reference something that doesn't exist. So if I tell it print hello and then plus name, it prints out hello Jason. So for your exercise for this lesson, you're going to create a variable below and then create a print statement that prints hello plus your name to the variable. Go ahead and run it. Remember that we set up the run command, the Python run file command, as a special keyboard shortcut that only you know, because only you know what you set it to. But if you need a refresher of where to put it or where it was under the File menu. And if you go to Preferences and Keyboard Shortcuts, and then I am going to type in Python run. So run this file, you just double click here where it says key binding and put in a keyboard combination and then press enter. And that's what it'll be. So this is something you're going to be using every time in these lessons. So set it to something that's easy to use. So write your code of your variable and then your print statement and make sure that your code does what you expect it to do. Make sure if there's a space, there needs to be a space, you add the space. And yeah, so once you're done with that, you're going to go over to the side where it says source control, and you're going to commit. And then you're going to put your commit message. So in your case, it's probably going to be something like completed exercise 1 or 1. In my case, though, I'm just going to say, actually, you know what? In this case, it's fine. I'm just going to say edited part 1. There we go. And then once you save and quit the file or exit the file, so in this case, I save and then exit, the commit will go through, but your changes aren't synced yet. So go ahead and sync those, and then you should be done. You can go back to your repository, which should look like this on the website, and just you can pop into your thing and you can see the changes that have been made. In this case, there have been no, I changed this file, not the exercise file. So, all right, go ahead and get those in, and we'll see you in lesson 2.